Hello children, today I am going to take biology for the standard of 6. So today we will be seeing about how science is divided into 3, then about biology and branches of biology, about life, living things, its characteristics, and finally about cells. So let us see in detail. So in your 5th standard you would have studied a subject called science. But now you have come from 5th to 6th standard. Now this science subject is divided into physics, chemistry and biology. So we are going to concentrate only on this part alone, that is biology. So I am going to tell what is biology first. So we'll see. It examines the structure and function of living things. What is it? Biology means it examines the structure and function of living things. So what are living things? Living things are human beings, plants and animals. So these all are living things. So what happens is we are going to examine the structure of living things. So we are going to examine the structure, the outer part, the body form. We are going to study those in detail about the structure of the plants, about the structure of each animal, about the structure of human beings. So those all will be examined in biology. Next, examining the function of living things. Functions means all those metabolic activities that are happening inside all the living things. That is the respiration, the excretion, the digestive system. So those all you will be learning in biology. About all the living things and their functions will be learned under biology. So this is the definition for biology. Next we will move on to its classification. Biology is divided into 3 types. So how they function. Second is how species come into existence, and third is how they interact with each other. So first is how they function. So I already said you biology means it is about examining the functions of the living things. So here they say how they function. So biology means how an organism functions, how a living thing functions, how it walks, how it breathes, how it eats, how it gets digested. So these processes will be learned in biology. That is what is mentioned in how they function. Next is how species come into existence. So coming into existence means how a living thing is born, how a human being is formed, how from a single seed a huge tree is formed. So those processes, those life cycles you will be learning in the subject of biology. So that is what is told in how species come into existence. Third is how they interact with each other. So how living things interact with one another. We interact with one another. We interact with human beings. Plants also interact with one another. We also interact with nature. So there is a link between all the living things. How this takes place, how the processes is happening. So those you will be studying in biology. So these are the 3 major things that will be studied in biology. First is how they function, and second is how species come into existence, and third is how they interact with each other. So these are the classification of biology. Next we are moving on to the branches of biology. So biology means it does not deal with one subject or one topic alone. So biology means it has various branches. Lots of things come under biology. So we have many branches in biology, but I have listed a few of them. I will explain you in detail now. So there are many branches of it. But let's see. First is biochemistry. So biochemistry means it deals with the chemicals. The chemicals that are used in our body, the uses that in daily life. So all these chemicals are studied in biochemistry. Studying about the chemicals that are useful for the living things. Next is biology. So cell biology means it is about the study of the cells. So cells are the basic unit. All the living things are made up of cells. Even we are made up of cells. So studying about their structure, the functions, their shapes and all comes under cell biology. Next is microbiology. Micro means microorganisms, small organisms that we cannot see through the naked eye. We can see only through the microscope. So those will be studied in microbiology. We will be studying about the structure of the microorganisms, the functions and their various processes. So microorganisms means virus, bacteria and all those things. Next is immunology. So immune means when we are affected by any disease, affected by any microorganisms, what happens? We get disease. Our human body, what it does? It resists the virus. So that is called immune. So studying about these processes, so studying about immune system in all the living things, not only human beings, in plants also they have an immune system, in animals also they have an immune system. So studying about all these immune systems will be studied in immunology. Next is genetics. So genetics deals with genes. So what genes does is, it passes one character from one generation to another. So example, we will be resembling like our parents. We will look like our parents. How does this possible? It is all through genes. We get their character, a part of their character. So studying this long cycle, this process is genetics. So studying about the character passing from one generation to another generation is genetics. Next is physiology. So physiology deals with all the body, the outer body, how they works, how we can move our hands, how we can walk, how we can see. So those, how the body works, studying about them in detail is called physiology. Next is zoology. Zoology is the study about animals. So studying only about the animals, their structure, their functions, the various animals that are found. Even we are included in zoology. We are also an animal. Man is a social animal. So in zoology, we will be studying about all the animals and their structures. Next, finally, botany. So botany deals with plants. In zoology, what we did? We deal only with the animals, their functions and structures. In zoology, we will be learning about the animals, but in botany, what we will do? We will learn only about the plants, the types of plants, their structure, their anatomy, their morphology, and everything will be learning in botany. So these are the branches of biology. First is biochemistry, then cell biology and microbiology, immunology, genetics, physiology, zoology and botany. So these are the branches of biology. Next we will move on to life. So how can we tell that this specific thing has a life, it lives a life? How can we tell that? It is through these three characteristics. First is growing, then breathing, then reproducing. If anything that grows, breathes and reproduces, then we will tell it has a life. So a living thing has these three characteristics. First is, take us as an example. Do we grow every day? 5 years ago we would have been small. Now you would have grown a little bigger. How is it possible? We grow, we change. So that is called growing. Then we breathe every day. You know, you take in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So we breathe. So reproducing. All the living things reproduce. We have the ability to produce young ones of our own. So if any thing has these three characteristics, then they are living things. Whereas non-living things means they do not have any of these characteristics. They do not grow, they do not breathe and they do not reproduce. Next is, a living creature is called an organism. So So any creature that lives, that grows, that breathes, that moves, so they are called an organism. We are also an organism. The plants are also an organism. The animals are also an organism. So all the living things are called as organism. A living creature is called as an organism. Next is we are going to see the characteristics of life. First is responding to the environment. So, for example, if you go step on a rock, what will happen? Does the rock react? No, it does not react. Why? Because it is a non-living thing. It does not have any senses. So, it does not move. Whereas if you go step on a turtle, what happens? It moves on or it breaks off. The shell breaks off. Why? Because it is a living thing. It responds, it reacts to the environment. So that is why we tell they respond to the environment. We also respond to the environment because we are also living things. So responding to the environment means any reaction if it comes, we react. So that is called responding to the environment. Next is growth and change. As I said before, we grow every day. Few years back we would have been small, then we would have grown gradually. Compared to the plants, from a small seed it grows to a huge plant. So that is also growth. We grow every day, we change. So that is called growth and change. Next is reproduction. So all the living things have the ability to reproduce. Life has the ability to give another life. Every organism has the ability to produce their own species. So that is reproduction. All living things reproduce. So these are the three characteristics of life. First is responding to the environment, then growth and change, and finally reproduction. These are the three major characteristics of life. So I already told you about cells. So we are going to see how from a single cell a whole organism is formed. The flow chart of it we will see it in detail. First is cell. If a group of cells they form into a tissue. Tissue what they does is they have there are many types of tissues. Each tissues have specific functions. So we have muscular tissue for muscles. Likewise, we have many tissues. So these tissues what they do, they together form organs. So tissues together form an organs. So organs means our nose, our mouth, our eyes. So all are made up of tissues. What happens next? These organs together form an organ system. So organ systems, example digestive system, the respiratory system. So these are all the organ systems. If you take digestive system as an example, we have pancreas, that is an organ. We have liver, that is an organ. We have stomach, that is also an organ. So in one organ system, we have many organs involved. That is what is said here. Many organs together form an organ system, and many organ systems together form an organism. So take us as an example, we breathe. So respiratory system is going on within us. We eat and digest. Digestive system is also within us. So we have many systems in our own body. So we are an organism. We are made up of many organ systems. So that is what is said here. Many organ systems together form an organism. First is cells. Cells together form tissues. Tissues together form organs. Organs together form organ system, and organ system together form an organism. So this is the process of how from a cell a whole organism is formed. Now I will give you a recap from the first. First we saw how science is divided into physics, chemistry and biology. So the definition for biology is examining the structure and function of living things. How the structure of living things are formed, how they function. So those will be studied under biology. It is classified into three. First is how they function, that is how they breathe, how they eat, how they digest, and next is how species come into existence. That is how a living thing is born, how they are born. Next is how they interact with each other, how they communicate with each other, how living things communicate. So these three will be studied under biology. Then biology is not only a single subject, it is comprised of many branches. So these are a few branches. First is biochemistry. Biochemistry deals with chemicals. Cell biology means studying about the cell and its structure. Microbiology means studying about their microorganisms, that is virus, bacteria and all those things. Next is immunology, studying about the immune system of all the living things come under immunology. Then genetics means studying about the genes and passing of character from one generation to another, that is studied in genetics. And physiology means how a body works, how a living body works. So that will be studied in physiology. And zoology means studying about the animals, their functions and structures. And botany means studying about the plants, their functions and structures. So these are the branches of biology. Next we learned about life. If a thing grows, breathes and reproduces, then we will say this thing has a life and it is called as the living things. So living things does all the three characters. Next is non-living things means it does not have these three characteristics. Next is a living creature is called an organism. If any creature lives, that is called as an organism. Next is characteristics of life. Responding to the environment means if any action comes to us, comes to the living things, we react to it. That is called responding. Then growth and change. Every day we grow, so that is called growth. We change every day. Next is reproduction. So reproduction means all living things have the ability to produce young ones of their own species. That is reproduction. And build of cells. From a single cell, how a whole organism is formed. That is, cells together form tissues, tissues together form organs, organs together form organ systems, and finally, organ system together form an organism. So now we are going to see about the cell and the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. So I am going to explain about what is cell and their characteristics and types in detail. So let us go. First is, it is the basic unit of life. So it is the basic unit of life because all the living things are made up of cells only. Each and every living thing, even human beings, from plants, animals, all are made up of cells only. In a human body, there are trillions of cells. Each cells have their own specific functions. So that is why it is called as the basic unit of life. Next is, cell is the structural and functional unit. Why it is called as the structural and functional unit means it forms the structure. Cell only forms the structure of a human body, structure of an animal body, structure of a plant body. It is the main source for the external features for forming. So that is why it is called as the structural unit. Next is, it is called as the functional unit because it carries out the functions in the body of living. That is, if you take example humans, it takes part in the metabolic activities of the human body, of the plant body, of the all the living things that are around us. So that is why it is called as the structural and functional unit of life. So it is responsible for the formation of structure and also it expands the functions of the living body. Next is, all the organisms are composed of cells. Like I said, it is the basic unit of life. All the living things are made up of cells only. Next is, based on the number of cells, these organisms are divided into two types. So based on the number of organisms, it is divided into two. That is, organisms include small organisms, very lower organisms also. It includes higher organisms like that is they have divided into two. So lower organisms are coming under a category and the higher ones are coming under another category. So first we will see the first type is unicellular. Uni here means one. So one celled organisms are called as unicellular organisms. What happens is the whole body will have only one cell within. That cell will be responsible for all the activities of the entire body. That is, it will be responsible for movement, it will be responsible for reproduction, it will be responsible for getting nutrition. So all the processes and functions will be handled only by this single cell. So that is why it is called as the unicellular. Only one cell will be present. So this type of organisms are only considered as lower organisms. The small minute organisms, the small algae-like particles comes under unicellular. Next is the multicellular. Here multi means many. Many celled organisms are called as multicellular organisms. So for example, human beings. We are a multicellular organism because I told you we have trillions of cells in our body. So what these much cells do is each cell takes parts in specific functions. So they will do, one will do the digestion, one will do the respiration. So all the processes will be responsible for each group of cells. So that is why it is called as the multicellular, many celled organisms. Likewise, plants also has many cells, animals also has many cells. So many celled organisms are called as multicellular organism. Whereas in unicellular organism, example amoeba. In amoeba, only one cell is present. It will be responsible for all the activities of the cell. Next, we will move on to the prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. These are the two types of cells. This type of cell, that is prokaryotic cell, will be present only in unicellular organisms, that is the lower organisms. The small organisms that we cannot see through naked eye, the microscopic organisms will have structures like this. This is the prokaryotic cell. Coming to the eukaryotic cell, this will be present in higher animals, that is the multicellular organisms. Those which are higher in order of species, that is human beings, plants and animals, those are the higher organisms. So in that eukaryotic cell will be present. This type of cells will be present in those organisms. So we will see the structure in detail. So first an outer covering will be present, that is the capsule, the outermost part of the cell. Then we have another layer, the plasma membrane. Then comes the mesosome. Mesosome is the plasma membrane. It is like a plasma membrane. It protects the cell. Next is the plasmid. Plasmid is the DNA particle. The genetic particle is the plasmid. It does not have any covering. Whereas if you see here you can see the genetic material. It will be covered in animal cell, that is the eukaryotic cell. But here no covering will be present. Since it is present in lower organisms, it does not have any covering. So plasmid is the genetic material. Then we have the structure like this called the nucleus. Instead of nucleus, this nucleus is present. And here is this tail-like part is called the flagellum. Flagellum, what it is responsible means, it is responsible for the movement. For the cell to move from one place to another, like the legs for us, it will use the flagellum to move from one place to another. That is the function of flagellum. So first we have a capsule, then the plasma membrane is present, and again it is a three-coated cell. So next is the mesosome is present, that is the plasma membrane. Mesosome is a special feature. It will be present only in prokaryotic cell. It will not be present in eukaryotes. So mesosome is a special feature. Then we have the DNA material called plasmid, and the nucleoid is present. That is, instead of of nucleus, nucleoid is present and the flagellum is present for movement. Then moving on to the structure of eukaryotic cell. This does not have any cell wall, whereas prokaryotes will have cell wall. So first will be the cell membrane, and then this Golgi apparatus will be present. What it will do is it will transport materials throughout the cell. It will pack the contents and transport throughout the cell. That is the function of Golgi apparatus. So this structure is the Golgi apparatus. How it transports is, it transports through vesicles, through balls-like structure. It will transport all the contents to the cell. That is the function of Golgi apparatus. And next is the nucleolus. So nucleolus, what it does is, it will be inside the nucleus. And next is the nucleus. First in the center, this nucleus will be present, and inside this, the nucleolus will be present and genetic material will be present. So first is the nucleus, and inside the nucleus, nucleolus and genetic material will be present. What this nucleus does is, it is the control center of the cell. It will control all the activities of the cell. Like the brain for the human body, this for the cell, this nucleus is responsible for all the activities. So nucleus and nucleolus and genetic material. Then the lysosome is present. So the lysosome is the digestive system of the cell. So it has digestive enzymes in it. So what happens when the nutrition passes through it? It will drain up the waste and destroy it. So that's why it's called as the suicidal bag. So lysosome has digestive enzymes in it. When after digestion, what it does? It destroys. So that's why it's called as the suicidal bags. The last is the mitochondria. Mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. So it will give energy to the entire cell for all the functioning. So for in case if it is for digestion, or if it is for lipid production or protein production, cell needs energy, right? For that, mitochondria will give energy, that is power to ATP molecules. So first is the cell membrane, then the Golgi apparatus for transforming material throughout the cell, then nucleus is present in the center and nucleolus is present, and it will have genetic material in it. Lysosome is there for digestive enzymes, and finally mitochondria is there for giving power to the cell. That is why it is called as the powerhouse of the cell. So here we have a differentiation. First is, for prokaryotic cells, not well defined cell organelles are present. Not well defined means it is very primitive. The organelles in the cell are very primitive and very simple. Why? Because it is present only in lower organisms. That is the bacteria, the virus, the small organisms that we cannot see through the naked eye. Only in these organisms this cell will be present. That is why not well defined cell organelles are present. They are not well defined, they are very simple. So only it will have a covering and the DNA material will be present. It will be very simple. If you see eukaryotic cell means it is very complicated. Each organelle has a specific functions. One will give power to the cell, one will give digestion, one will give the digestive system. So the entire organelles work together, and it is very complicated when compared to prokaryotes. So that is why this cell has not well defined cell organelles. Then for example, bacteria and virus, like I said, it will be present only in lower organisms, in microorganisms, example bacteria and virus. Then nucleus is absent in prokaryotes. So you cannot find the nucleus. There is no control center in this cell. So nucleus is absent, but here you can find the nucleus and it will control all the activities of the cell. Then last is, it is present in unicellular organisms. So prokaryotic cells are present only in lower organisms. unicellular organisms. So not well defined cell organelles, example bacteria and virus, then nucleus is absent and finally will present only in the unicellular organisms. Next, moving on to the eukaryotic cell, well defined cell organelle. So very complicated, well defined cell, that is each cell organelle has their own specific function. So that is why well defined cell organelles are present. Example, humans and plants. So all the plants, the huge trees and plants, the human body, so these are all higher organisms. So example, humans and plants. This type of cell will be present in humans and plants. Next is nucleus is present. That is the control center is present. All the activities will be controlled by the nucleus. And finally, multicellular organisms. So in higher organisms, that is multicellular, many celled organisms, this type of cell will be present. This is the model structure of animal cell. So in our body, this type of cell will be present. Whereas in plants, what you will see is the exact same organelles, but cell wall will be present in the outside and it will be very rigid. It will be very rigid. So this is the difference between plant cell and animal cell. So I will give you a small recap. First we saw what is a cell. It is the basic unit of life, that is all living things are made up of cells. So it is the basic unit of life and it is the structural and functional unit of life. That is the structure also is formed using cells and function also is taking part in cells. So the cells are responsible for both structure and function. So that's why it's called as the structure and functional unit of cell. Next is an organism is composed of cell. So all the organisms, all the living things are composed of cell only. Next is based on the number of cells, they are divided into unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular means one cell. That is one cell will be responsible for all the functions. Example, amoeba. Next is multicellular, many cell organisms. So many cells together function an organism, that is human beings. For unicellular, amoeba is an example. So next, moving on to the structure, capsule will be present, that is the covering. The mesosome will be like the plasma membrane and the plasmid is present. It will be like the genetic material, the RNA, DNA in human beings. Plasmid will be present. Then the nucleoid, instead of nucleus, nucleoid will be present and flagellum is present for movement. Then coming on to this structure, the cell membrane, the outer covering is present, called the apparatus for transforming materials, and nucleus and nucleolus will be present. Then genetic material also will be present. It is the control center, and lysosome is the digestive enzyme. It has the digestive enzyme. It is called as the suicidal bag. It will destroy itself. So finally, mitochondria, it is the powerhouse of the cell. Through ATP molecule, it gives powers. Then coming on to the differentiation, not well defined cell organelles. That is not well defined. It is very simple. Example, bacteria and virus. So lower organisms, this type of cell will be present only in lower organisms. Nucleus is absent. It will be present only in unicellular, single cell organisms. Then moving on to eukaryotic, well-defined cell organelles are present. That is, each organelle will have their own function, specific function. It is very complicated. So, well-defined cell organelles. Example, human and plants, and nucleus is present in eukaryotic cell, and finally, multicellular organisms will have. So, first is well-defined cell organelle. So each cell will have its own function. Examples, human and plants, that is all the higher organisms. Eukaryotic cell, that is this type of cell will be present. And finally, nucleus is present. The control center, the brain of the cell is present. And finally, multicellular organisms, that is many celled organisms. In many celled organisms, this type of cells will be present. In our human body also, this type of cell only is present. So seeing the basics of biology and about cell also. Your worksheet will be given through PDF format. Learn all the questions and draw the Venn diagram in your classwork now. Thank you, children.